Oh, come here, buddy. I know you want it. Come on. I see you. I see you under it. Get it. All right, people. I'm back at it again with another video. I'm out here at the lake, the wading lake. I've been a couple times. Got some pals out here with me. They're getting ready to start fishing. I'm still getting rigged up, but yeah, it's just you know, got a couple hours. Wanted to get some friends out here. Gonna try, you know, catch a few bass, have a good time. So that's really all I got to say. It's gonna be a simple day. Just got a couple hours. Should be fun. You never know until you throw. So let's go. See, once again, see that shady spot on the other side? Mm-hmm. That's where I would cast to. And then you just sort of let it, once it hits the top of the water, you just keep your eye on it and wait for the ripples to dissipate. So it's gonna float? Yeah, it's a floating lure. And then you just kind of point your rod, like once the ripples disappear, you just point your rod at the lure and just reel it slow and steady, and it'll start doing this little walking crawl on top of the water. Looks like Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps lure.
Oh, my little vampire baby Michael Phelps.
Yeah, just let it sit. Watch the ripples. And then just very slowly. Well, now it's not doing it right.
I'm just nervous I'll get caught in one of these trees.
Yeah, do like a low, I'll say like a side cast, like a low angle cast.
Oh wait, I need to let it float.
Yeah, let it sit for a few seconds. I would say do that with that lure too, Sarah. Like make a cast and wait till the ripples disappear and then start winding it. Gotta go pretty slow. Go pretty slow so it's doing that little. Yeah, just like that. We want the wings to be wiggling. You want to just wind it up till it gets close to the branch where the line's hanging over.
I'm trying to get it so it's only caught in one tree. Okay, now it's only caught in one tree. Okay, and I see what tree it's caught in.
Yeah, wind it up so it's like a few inches under. And then just try to use your rod and just flip it over. Perfect, perfect.
That worked well. I was worried.
Yeah. There's like more space down there too, so we don't like crowd each other out.
Yeah, I might do that.
How's it going?
How y'all doing?
Oh. There's a fish looking at yours, Skinzer. Oh, come here, buddy. I know you want it. Come on. I see you. I see you under it. Get it. Get it. Yes. Oh my God. Dude. I watched that fish like track it and get closer and closer, and that was insane. Wow, that was a really cool catch, people. Just saw this fish run it down and attack it. All right, thank you, buddy. That was a really cool bite. Appreciate that. I just made a cast to the opposite bank over here, and this fish hit it as soon as it landed in the water. Not a very big one, but I want my friends to catch something, but no luck with them so far. Get this guy unhooked. You want to try this lure? It keeps working.
Sure, yeah.
And I can switch. I have other lures that I want to sort of get some practice with, so.
Another little guy.
Yeah, that was just like basically in the dirt on the other side.
Wow.
Okay, bye-bye, little fish. Thank you for hitting my lure. Appreciate you. Okay. All right, people, so both my friends have crazy crawlers tied on now, because that's what has been working for me today. So I decided to switch it up to this Seaman, I think it's called a cross-eyes snakehead swim jig. Never used it before. I'm gonna see if we can get a fish to bite it. Should work good with all the grass and stuff around here. So I'm gonna start casting this around. Don't really fish swim jigs or bass jigs in general, but I'm gonna try and make something happen with it today. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Wow, wow, people. Sight fished him. We just made a little short cast, started to swim the jig back, then we paused it, let it sink, and he picked it up. And we caught him right there in front of us on the swim jig. That was crazy. Whoa, he's fired up. He's fired up, people. It's a good fish here. There we go. Check him out, people. Beautiful fish here. About 1.5 pounds. Just found him in the shade. And he pounced on it once we paused it. I think that might be the key if we're going to keep fishing the swim jig, but I might try another topwater since we keep seeing fish busting out here. So anyway, another fish. Let's get a picture of them and send them back. All right, appreciate your fish. Get you out of here. Well, people, there's nothing quite like having a good day of fishing out on the water and then, getting back to the studio and firing up your footage and realizing that you don't have audio for, half of the day. But anyway, this footage is still interesting enough that I want to make sure to show it to you. So, at this point we had switched it up to a buzzbait, another topwater lure. This is a inline buzzbait with I think it's a watermelon red flake buzz toad as a trailer. And this buzzbait has a clear plastic blade, a quad bladed buzzbait. And this quad blade, it's not as popular as the metal tube blade. That's kind of the standard for a buzzbait. But this quad blade lets you slow down your retrieve quite a bit. And the sound that this blade makes compared to a metal blade is also a little different. It's a bit more subtle. So that's kind of this kind of clear water situation. The fish have been keyed up on topwater already today. We know that for a fact. So we can wind this buzzbait a little bit slower than others. It's going to have a more subtle sound. They're going to see that frog profile, and hopefully they'll respond to it. So we're starting to make a few casts with that. A buzzbait is I haven't caught a lot of fish on them lately, but it's a good lure for topwater lure for covering water quickly, and seeing where the fish are, getting them to kind of reveal themselves, and you can kind of develop a pattern pretty quickly with it if they are responding to the buzzbait. And usually, in my experience, the fish have to be pretty aggressive. They have to be service oriented and pretty energized. Have a good amount of stamina to want to go run down a fairly fast moving topwater lure. But like I said, this model that I'm using, this is a hand built one. You can slow it down quite a bit, and it's just a little more subtle. So it's an example of kind of throwing something a little different compared to a regular buzzbait that fish maybe don't see as much. So we're just kind of running this thing around the area here and see what else we can find. At this point, my friend still hadn't caught any fish, so hopefully they're going to get on some here soon. But that's kind of the situation now. This is a different part of this lake that I really haven't fished before, but we're just kind of moving down the bank here more or less, and seeing if we can get some fish to sort of come out of kind of the shoreline cover, the lay downs, and see what we can get a few more here before we pack it in for the day. The hook on this lure is a 5/0 screw lock hook with a 1/4 ounce belly weight, and that's pretty useful for making sure that this lure is going to land right side up, and it's also going to give you a little extra weight for casting too. And right here, my friend Billy catches their first fish of the day. Not a very big bass or anything, but they've been throwing that tiny crazy crawler, that black and white one, and they finally hook into one. Out in the middle right here, we've been seeing fish jump there more or less all day out of the water. I wish I kind of gotten some footage of them leaping on camera, because it was pretty unusual. I really don't see that very often, but like I said, the fish at this lake are just oriented to insects right now. So we're just snapping a quick picture here of that little bass, probably like a 9 or 10 inch fish. But glad to see one of my friends get on one here. That's always the goal when I take friends out, is to make sure that they get on a few, and I'm able to kind of share the enjoyment of this with them. So. Oh, yeah, I think y'all saw that. That was a nice blow up there. That's our first fish on this lure ever, this particular model. And I was a little worried about the hookups on this bait, because you have to kind of push that hook, pretty heavy hook, through the soft plastic. But this setup, this medium heavy bait caster, no problem at all. Fast action rod, and we land a nice fish here. Oh man, love seeing those blow ups. That's always so much fun when you can get them to hit like that. And today they were doing it. They were responding to that presentation very well here. Another nice bass, probably a pound and a half, pretty much standard for this body of water. Lots of fish in that class here, and they're pretty aggressive and a blast to catch on topwater like that. And that's a really fun thing about this time of year, when the fish are kind of at their peak metabolism, or close to their peak. I guess earlier in the year they're maybe a little more aggressive, but even here, the fish are fired up. Look at that, another one hooked up right there, just out in the middle, not even casting to cover. There's so much vegetation in this lake. I think the fish actually can be pretty scattered sometimes. So they'll go out, when they're in an active feeding mode, they'll go out and hide in that vegetation and come up in the middle and try to get those insects. Look how fast that fish was pulling right there. Like I said, these fish are just fired up. Very aggressive bass out here. There's another one, maybe not quite as big as that last one, but still a fun fish to catch on that buzzbait. Love to see it out here. That's all there is to it, you know. Beautiful clear water as well. These fish can see the bait from pretty far off. This lure can draw them in. You know, if you burn it right over their heads, it's enough commotion to get them to respond. Very fun, you know, very fast paced, you know, I guess you could call this, you know, reaction fishing, power fishing is a term some people use, you know, using those fast reaction baits that just provoke the fish, kind of almost irritate them into hitting the lure just by making a bunch of commotion and movement. And at this point, I'd also given Billy a different buzzbait, another one that I built with a black skirt and a gold blade. And this is their first catch on that. It didn't take very long, probably, you know, 5 to 10 casts before they got a fish on that buzzbait. And I was kind of surprised, you know, that one, that's the more typical style of blade, that dual blade. No clacker, just a dual blade, but it's metal. And it definitely makes a louder sound on the water, and that, you know, the flash of that gold, you know, a bit more conspicuous, but the fish were not hesitating on that either. And yeah, it's, yeah, love to see it. Love to see my friends catching some fish. You know, me and Billy, we've been fishing together for years. Have lots of good memories on the water, and we're just making more here today. Look at that. Beautiful largemouth bass here at the lake. That smell says it all, people. That smell says it all. Great time out here. Gonna get a nice release on this fish as well. Swam off strong. Awesome. And at this point, you know, I just helped them, you know, taking the picture there. And I was in the process of trying to get my phone back into my my bag. And I can't even get my phone back into my bag. And I think on the very next cast, wait for it. Oh, look at that, people. Savage blow up. Absolutely savage. Right in front of us. I mean, next cast, back to back. These fish were they were fearless out here. Fearless. I mean, I think that's even bigger than the last one. Really, I mean, when you can find fish that are this aggressive, this fired up, it's something. You know, you can. It's just sort of these, you know, when you're fishing, you can have such a contrast of experiences, you know, when the fish are lethargic or moody and it feels like you don't even know how to catch them. And then there are other days where you're astonished by how fearless and aggressive they are. And this was one of those days in the latter category. Look at that. Another beautiful largemouth out here. This lake has such a healthy population of these fish. Love to see it. Absolutely love it. Making a few more casts here near this little patch of pads, and we get slammed right next to that laydown. It's kind of our final catch that I'm going to show you here. And wow, nice jump there. Another pretty good fish on that inline buzzbait that I was using. They were just loving it. So yeah. Fun times out here, no doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. But yeah, just one of those great days where you can take a few friends out and have a relaxing time, you know, fishing reaction lures and hooking into some nice bass. Great way to spend some free time, if you ask me. Appreciate that fish. Beautiful fish there. Love that one. Very nice. Very nice fish. Alright, people, I'm back at the car. My friends have left. Pretty good day out here back at the lake. You know, this is kind of one of my go-to spot, and it pretty much always delivers it. Sometimes it takes a little while to sort of figure out what they want. And the topwater bite was definitely on fire still at that lake. I mean, they were still chasing dragonflies, jumping out of the water. I think I caught 5 on the crazy crawler. I caught 1 on the swim jig. That was the first time I'd ever caught a fish on a swim jig. I think I made 4 other catches on the that buzzbait, that buzz that inline buzzbait with the toad frog, soft plastic frog as a trailer. That was a lure that I built myself, so it's pretty cool to see that thing going to work and catching some fish. I hope you enjoyed this one. Just kind of a casual video, casual day, just going out and catching some bass on topwater. It doesn't get much better than that. So, with that being said, subscribe to the channel. You see what we do out here. We turn up, we catch fish. If you don't subscribe, you're missing out. Second of all, the buzzbaits that me and my friend were using there at the end, those are for sale in my lure shop, so I'm going to be linking those in the description of the video. If you want to pick one up, you know they work. You saw them work in this video, so yeah, check them out if you'd like. They're definitely fish catchers. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Take it easy.